Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children, welcome to Online Teaching Academy, XII. This is 12th standard Entrepreneurship, and you're in Unit 3, Enterprise Marketing. Okay, today we are going to discuss about one of the components of marketing mix. Now, I just like to refresh onto what all I have discussed in the beginning of the chapter. To begin with, we discussed about goal setting, what are SMART goals, and we discussed about the different marketing strategies that you should use to sell your product, right? Actually, the marketing strategies are very elaborate. To our 12th standard, we have restricted ourselves to the component of marketing mix. Now, what are all the components of marketing mix? So we saw there are 4 components, that is the 4 P's. Okay, first is product, promotion, price, and then place. So we discussed about product. What is a product? How you should develop a product? You would have used all the latest technologies and you would have made the best of the best products. You would have put the best quantity and quality into the product. But if you are not able to market the product, what are you going to do with it? So you should apply the best of the marketing strategies to promote your product. So then comes promotion. Then how are you going to promote your product? You have to pack your product properly, you have to label it properly, you have to use proper logos, you should brand your product properly, right? So we discussed about branding, using logos, using taglines, and then using the best of the technologies to pack your product. Then we saw pricing. So pricing is also another component of your marketing mix. So how do you price your product? So we saw the different types of pricing, right? We saw skimming, we saw variable pricing, we saw penetrating pricing. So all these are different types of prices that you should adopt to price your product. Okay. So pricing to a great extent, the success of your product to a great extent depends upon your pricing also. The next component is place. So where do you sell your product? So location is one of the most important component for the success of your product. So place is one of the components of your marketing mix. So place, right? So now place. So place refers to the point of sale. Catching the eye of the customer and making it easy for her to buy is the main aim of the good distribution or place strategy. So retailers pay a premium for the right location. In fact, the mantra of a successful retailer is location, location, and location. For example, if you once I happened to visit Paris Corner, I saw a small joint, and there was a person selling potato vadas, and you'll be surprised to know what is his turnover. His turnover is more than 1 crore. Okay, you find small joints, small hotels. Now these people, they would have made they'll be billionaires or even trillionaires. And that means it all depends upon your place, where you open your shop, where you sell your product. Now see, all of us like to go to T Nagar, Panangal Park and Ponti Bazaar is our place of shopping. Like we all like to go there, because why? All branded products. Now once you introduce your product, you want your customers to see what you are going to sell, isn't it? So when only when the customers see the product, they'll be able to buy. So you should choose a proper channel of distribution. So once you choose the channel of distribution, it is easy for the products to reach the customer. So what is the ultimate aim of your making the product? It should reach the customer. So how will it reach the customer? You should adopt proper channel of distribution. There are a lot of channels of distribution. Either you can sell it directly to the customer, or you can go through the agent, wholesaler, retailer, and then to the customer, or you can sell it through the retailer and the customer. So there are 4 methods you can adopt to sell your product to the customers, right? Now this is a joint, like this is a shopping place, T Nagar. I've just taken a photograph for you to share, like how people go, why people, see the displays they have made A to Z, they have displayed all the dresses and the latest fashions. They just want to sell the product. So this is the latest thing that is there in the market, right? Now next, these are all the different malls that you will find in the city, and any mall you go, you will find the latest. Okay, the moment that reaches the market or your product reaches the market, you want the consumer to use the particular product, right? Now you see VR Mall. If you go to VR Mall, all the branded showrooms will be there. You name it. Max is there, Trends, or Peter England, or anything. All the latest, branded showrooms are there, and we all like to flock to these big malls. Why? Because you get the latest one, isn't it? Okay. Now next, place mix. Place mix is in other words known as distribution mix. Now what do you mean by distribution mix? Distribution mix, let me choose my pen. Okay, so it is in other words called as place mix. A channel of distribution or a trade channel is defined as a path or a route along which goods move from producer to the manufacturer to ultimate consumer or industrial users. It is a distribution network through which the producer puts his product in the market and passes on to the actual users, right? So channel consists of producers, consumers or users. So there are a lot of middlemen. Who are all the middlemen? Agents, wholesalers, retailers and ultimate consumers, right? So various middlemen like wholesalers, selling agents, retailers who intervene between the producers and the consumers. Channels of distribution consist of three types of flows. Okay, what are the flows? Downward flow, upward and downward. So downward flow of goods from producer to the consumer. Upward flow of cash payments for goods from consumer to the producer. Flow of marketing information in both downward and upward direction. So downwards means the producer ultimately has to sell the product to the consumer. Upward, whatever the the consumer when they buy, they pay for it, isn't it? So the cash flows from the consumer to the producer. Then you have a flow of marketing information both downward and upward. So the consumer after using the product, he will give an information like whether he likes it, what are all the flaws, and the producer will collect the information from the consumer. You should know whether the product is good or it's not good. So only after receiving it, he will be able to improve his product, right? Okay, next. So channels of distributions are broadly divided into four types, as I already told you. It's from producer to consumer, that is called as direct channel. Then producer, retailer, consumer, that is indirect or one level. Then you have two level where the producer, wholesaler, retailer and the consumer. The producer, agent, wholesaler and the retailer, that is the third level, right? Now the first one, producer, customer, that is direct channel or zero level. Cut out the middlemen. Now here the producer sells the product directly to the customer. When he is selling the product directly, the producer sells the product directly to the customer. There are a lot of advantage because there are no middlemen. He'll have a direct contact with the customers, right? And like for example, see Bata showrooms, they produce in a factory and directly they have outlets. Nike, they have their factories and they have their own outlets, like emails, through emails, and you can open your own website and then you can sell the products to the customers directly. So there are a lot of advantage when you have a direct contact. So when you cut out the middleman, when you have a direct channel, when the producer directly deals with the customer, there are a lot of advantages, right? So here there is no middleman involved and the producer directly sells the products to the consumer. It is fast and economical channel of distribution. Producers may sell directly to the consumers through door-to-door sales and direct mail or through their own retail stores, right? Big firms adopt this channel of to cut the distribution cost and to sell industrial products of high value. Small producers and producers of perishable commodities also sell directly to the local market. So example, I told you Nike and Bata. Now for example, you are a farmer, you have some 2 or 3 acres of land and you are making brinjals and all type of vegetables. So you directly bring it to the market and then sell it to the consumers because it is perishable, and you don't have to sell it to the agents, and the agent, like normally when he is buying from the farmer, he will buy it for a lower cost and he will sell it at a higher cost. So to avoid that, and if he wants to take the entire profit, he can bring it and sell it to a market. Now a marketplace, you see for vegetables you have a vegetable market, if it is a gold market you have gold souks. And normally we like to go to a market and buy because we have a feel that it is available easily and you get fresh things, and the producers want to sell, want to have shops in the marketplace because people see. When people see, they have a temptation to buy. Right. So location is one of the most important component, and the success of the business business or a product to a great extent depends upon your place or location. Okay, the producer, retailer and the consumer, that is your indirect. So indirect one, level 1. Okay, so you have your producer, then you have your retailer, and then you have your consumer. So this channel of distribution involves only one middleman or the retailer. Okay, the producer sells his or her product to the big retailer, and or retailers who buy goods in large quantity, who in turn sells it to the ultimate consumer. This channel relieves the manufacturer from the burden of selling the goods himself, and at the same time gives him control over the process of distribution. So this is often suited for distribution of consumer durables and products of high level. For example, automobile manufacturers selling through authorized dealers. So next you have your producer, wholesaler, retailer and consumer. That is 2 level. You have your producer, wholesaler, retailer and consumer. This is the most suitable, common, traditional channel of distribution. The producer sells his product to the wholesaler, who in turn sells it to the retailer. So retailer finally sells the product to the ultimate consumer. So this channel is suitable for the producers who have limited finance, narrow product line and next expert services and promotion to support of the wholesaler. This is mostly used for products with which is widely scattered. Okay. So producers, agent, wholesalers, retailers and consumers. So first producer sells it to the agent, then the agent gives to the wholesaler, wholesaler to the retailer and retailer to the consumer. This is the longest channel of distribution in which 3 middlemen are involved. Okay. This is used when the producer wants to be fully relieved of the problems of distribution and thus hands over his entire output to the selling agents. So the agents distribute the product among a few wholesalers. Each wholesaler distributes the product among the number of retailers who finally sell it to the ultimate consumer. So this channel is suitable for wider distribution of various industrial products. So for example, you have made a product. Okay, it is up to you to choose the channel of distribution. It all depends. Now for example, you have an wholesale mart where you get onions, where you get chilies. Now some people, we have the habit of going to the wholesale market to buy our things, right? So it all depends upon the type of the product. For example, if it is a perishable product and if you are going to sell it through agents, from the agent to the wholesaler, from the wholesaler to the retailer, from the retailer to the customer may not receive his product at all, right? So it depends. Now if the item is very costly, then maybe you want to do it direct sale, okay, the first one, or you want to sell it to the retailer and then to the consumer, right? So we were discussing about marketing mix, right? And we were discussing about the 4 components of the marketing mix. So first thing is I told you your product. The product is the primary thing. First you should know your product should be good. Okay. Once you have made sure how your product should be, to whom you want, who should be your ultimate consumer, okay, then you go for the promotion of the product. When you're promoting the product, what are the things you should keep in mind? Definitely you should keep in mind the logo, you should keep in mind the branding, you should brand your product, okay, isn't it? You should have a tagline, you should pack the product in such a way that it is very attractive, right? Sometimes your product will be very good. Because your package is not attractive, customers may not want to buy your product. So you should give attention for the packing. So branding, setting a proper logo, having a tagline for your product, packing the product properly, then pricing the product. Sometimes if the product is very good, no, even if it is costly, I don't mind buying that product. You would have heard people, or yourself when you go to the supermarket or when you go to a market, you have a tendency to buy the product. Okay, it is costly, I don't mind buying it. Some people have the habit of buying only branded items. Now, why? They don't want to take the risk. They feel that they get the best quality. Okay, the best of the best quality is sold by the branded, like you get satisfaction when you buy branded quantity. That's what you feel, right? So when you set a brand, in the market. That means people are totally satisfied with the product. Okay, they blindly believe your product. Your product is super. Okay, they enjoy your product. Once you have set that, then you have permanent customers, and you know, customers generally spread the information of the product very easily. Of course, there are different modes of advertising, all that we will be discussing in another chapter. How are you going to advertise a product and all that? Once the customer is satisfied with the product, definitely he will pass on the information about the product, right? So your product should be good. You should concentrate on promoting the product. Then third is your pricing, how to price the product. So maybe if you want to penetrate into the market, you adopt that penetrating pricing method. Okay, you will keep the price low, so that once it penetrates in the market and people start using a product, and you feel that once they start using the product, and you can increase the price. That's a type of pricing. Okay, now we are talking about place. So place is the fourth component, and it's one of the most important component, right? So you should choose the proper channel of distribution for distributing your product. So I discussed about the 4 levels. Okay, first level is directly you sell it. Okay, producer to the consumer directly, or one level is producer, retailer, and then the consumer, or producer, wholesaler, retailer, and consumer, or producer, agent through the agent. Okay, the agent will, now the producer is totally relieved. He need not bother. All he will concentrate is what? Is making the product. He'll make the product, okay, and he will hand it over to the agents. That is when the product has to be sold to a wider market. And when the manufacturer is manufacturing too many products, okay, he is manufacturing too many products and he cannot concentrate on distribution. So if you don't concentrate on distribution, then your product might be a failure, isn't it? Now you might have seen all the consumer products, like for example, now Maggi or Colgate toothpaste, shampoos, face wash. Now all these, even small villages and towns, it is available. Now how is it possible? So it is through the agents. Biscuits. I am only quoting you some examples. There are a lot of examples which you can quote, right? So what I am trying to tell you is place is one of the most important component. Okay, one of the most important component for marketing mix. So it is not enough if your product is good. You should also know how to sell your product through a proper location. Fine. Entrepreneur has to choose a suitable channel of distribution for his or her product such that the channel chosen is flexible, effective, and consistent with the declared marketing policy and program of the. You have an assignment. How does the nature of product and nature of market affect the selection of channel of distribution? Thank you, children. Hope you would have understood the importance of place and location, and how it is very important for you to choose the right channel of distribution for your product, right? See you in the next class with another topic, right? To receive our online lessons, please press the subscribe button and you will receive the latest updates. Thank you, children.